Welcome back to the Hobby Chop Podcast. This is the podcast for the people. I am Big Ken. He is Zip. Zip, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing. It's been so busy. We all had the holidays, and then on top of that, I had my son's second birthday party yesterday, which was fun.
Did you do it anywhere specific or just?
Yeah. So where my mom lives, she lives in a 55 plus community, and there's this really nice community room. It's tribal too, so like it's the Mohegan tribe community, so it's really nice. We had it there and had a bunch of family come, and the big present for him was this. It's a full size for a toddler, Lightning McQueen. So it has a gas pedal, and we gave him that gift first, and he literally didn't open another gift the whole time because of how much he loved it and was just obsessed with it. So it went over very well. But great birthday, great turnout. So it was fun.
It's funny you should mention that. My son-in-law, who's very handy, picked McQueen up on the side of the road, the electric one that you drive for my granddaughter, and refurbed it. But there's a governor in there that he took out, but he took the battery out and like the DeWalt, you can upgrade that. So it's like 4x the power of the car if you change the battery.
Ka-chow. Yeah.
She's out there drifting in McQueen in a parking lot, spinning out, sliding in sideways. Yeah,
dude, he loved it. So I honestly haven't really been doing much card stuff this whole bit. Like I've had some cards get grades, send out stuff to consignment, but it's just been the holidays and that. So once the new year comes around, I'm ready to get into that. But and then what else I did today with some families, the show Hot Ones? No. Where they do they interview the celebrities, athletes, people like that, musical artists, and they have progressively hotter chicken wings that they eat as their answer.
Yeah, you messaged me, said you got. I'm like, why isn't this dude calling me back? He's like, can't talk.
Yeah, no,
I'm on fire.
I bought the you can buy the sauces from each season, so I bought the most recent one since a bunch of families home, and so like 5 of us did it today, and oh man, it was ridiculous, but it was so much fun. Yeah.
I see Bill's in the chat. He ripped it just before we went live. I saw the pictures of all the empty wrappers and boxes that he ripped a full case of Don Russ football megas. Says last mega had the downtown.
Who was the downtown?
Yeah, who was it? I don't know. Bill, who was your downtown? But isn't that the case? I ripped a case of blasters last year of that. And it was the last blaster, and we're like, oh, there's no downtown in this, but it was the very last blaster. Henry.
I assume Derrick Henry. That's great timing.
Yeah, so, especially after that game he had the other night.
Well, yeah, because now it comes down to, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's it's Ravens and Steelers. Winner takes the division, and same with Bucks and Panthers.
Yes, and I know right here I'm watching the Bears Niners. I think that comes down to these guys too, right? Whoever wins this gets the. They're both 11-4. I mean, I think they would be. Is it? Actually, they control their destiny, right? Isn't Seattle? If I remember,
Seattle's the 1 seed. Yeah, because then tomorrow night is Atlanta and the Rams.
MI3 cards. Happy Sunday Fun Day. Happy Choppers.
What? Who is that? MI3 cards. Do you know them?
I know them.
That's a new name that I've seen. So welcome.
But I don't. Bill.
Honestly, let's talk about this. So that, I watched that whole game. It was a good game for a low scoring game, and torrential downpour was a good game.
Yeah. But the Bills had to win that game.
Yeah, but your defense was stopping them. Like they had like less than 20 yards in the second half at one graphic that I saw. Why not just tie the game, send it into overtime, get a stop again that you did like the last two?
You guys were on a roll. You're on a roll. You go down the field. Yeah,
their defense was on a roll for a whole half.
Yeah, you got stopped on the goal line and all this. You're on a roll. I agree with the coaching, and you can't be mad that they lost the game.
They were in Buffalo.
Yeah, and they're trying to stay with the Patriots.
Lives in snowy Minnesota. MI 3 card, so MI must be Minnesota. Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, we're being iced upon tonight. No snow. We had snow yesterday, and now tonight it's misty rain with ice. So
yep.
Unlike our friends in Florida who are in like 80-degree weather.
yeah. Geez. If only we could be on there right now.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming and catching us live.
Question, and this is actually important. Are you catching us live because of the start time? Because we could use that as feedback, right, Ken? That directly correlates to a lot of our conversations. So that if it's the timing, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So
and anybody else who's in or pops in, as if it's the timing, because I'm the one, like I say, the later we go, the easier it is to bring, Central and West Coast people in.
Absolutely.
Later is better. And people get, parents get to put their kids to bed, stuff like that. And obviously Zip has got a little one and has to get up early for work. And, we have this debate all the time.
So if more people from out of our time zone are popping, we'll have to do it.
And if you're listening to the replay, sorry you had to listen to that.
Sorry. but comment and give us the feedback because it's actually important. If you're like, hey, even later would be better. But so what's on the docket tonight? What are we doing?
We got a few things. We got a big announcement we're going to save for a little bit later. We're going to talk about what I call percentage variables, and I'm not even going to. I'll explain what that is when we get into it. We're going to start with a little weekend recap.
Okay.
You said you didn't do much. I did. I mean, it is a weekend. Well, we had snow here yesterday. So yesterday, I sat here in the office and I prepared cards for grading. I prepared cards for consignment, and I prepared for a show that I set up at today. And I was hoping Michael would be in here because I wanted to share my pickups. And we did the pop or chop it. and what the last time we did it, Caleb Williams was on there, and I was a chop him.
I feel like I had a chop with a caveat. I still think I was wrong. I could be wrong. So Michael, if you remember, let me know. But I think I said chop him for this year, but pop in the off season to buy him for the next year coming in.
Yeah.
But that maturation period, just like.
And then he reminds me every week.
Catching it live because the girlfriend isn't here has nothing to do with Minnesota. Look at that.
Or the time.
Time.
But later still is better. So one of my pickups today was this nice Caleb Williams silver prism that is in fantastic condition. It's funny, I'm not. Am I gullible? Maybe. Like
I just wanted to say because the other episodes, like I'm done grading. That was you. You're like, I'm done grading, and you're like, look at this beautiful conditions, raw silver Caleb Williams, as it's like a week or two away from the playoffs. So, what's the goal? What's the plan with that?
So, really, the plan is because he's doing so well heading into the playoffs. I'm going to grade it. So I will send it off to grade it, and I'll have it for the National in Chicago, which at this point, regardless of what happens right now, they'll still be hot on him. He'll still be probably because of how they're ending the season strong. Unless a disastrous injury or something happens like that, I still think his market will be good going into. Oh, he's here. Michael's back. Going into so Michael, just to catch you up, if you just got in, I was hoping you were here because of our Pop It or Chop It episode where I chopped Caleb Williams. I just started to share a card that I picked up today with talking about what I'm going to, what the goal is with this card. It's a silver prism. And one of the things I want to say was, it's funny when people come to the show as far as things they say when they sell things, right? Like, I'm brand new. I pulled this card and I'm just hoping to sell it. Like I don't know anything about all that grading stuff and things like, the stuff you hear. And I get the card home and I realize somebody got wax all over the card. They Kurt used the Kurt's Card Care or something with the wax. They put wax all over it. They didn't, because to me it looked like it might have been scuffed, right? When I looked at it quickly. So I purchased it based on it's probably not going to be gradable. And I think probably other people saw that same thing and probably told him the same thing. But when I got it home and got it under the magnifying glass, I'm like, oh, this thing's just covered with wax that nobody wiped off. Put the wax down. He waxed it on, but didn't wax it off, right? So I polished it all up nice. I mean, this thing came out, shined up nice. Yeah. And I think Bill put in there, whatever, how much it'll be, but I think, 3 to 6, he says 3 to 600, if it comes out, I that seems a lot. It seems high, but who knows at the National in Chicago, how well. So there's a goal now, right? Now it's buying cards with a goal in mind, not it could be a quick, if it wasn't gradable, it could have been a quick flip if they went deep into the playoffs, right? But yeah, at this point, if it's because it looks gradable, I'll send it off.
Yeah, what's funny talking about this, and it's actually good because we're live. I have not breaking news, but I have a Kevin Durant PSA 10 Prismania from Prism Black. That's one of the case hits. And when I sent it off to Gig, it's ending in 2.5 minutes. And it's the first copy to sell. So it's for it, because when it started live on the auction, it was a pop one. And that's what the listing has in it. But now there's another one that graded a 10, and there's 6 9s. So what's interesting about this is when I sent it in, I didn't realize that it was a pop one. I thought it was like the Prismania from Prism, or at least maybe that's how I put it in when I put it in the PSA. But anyways, I got the notification it was a pop one. So 2 minutes, we'll see where that ends. It's at 885.
Wow. Good luck with that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So some of my other pickups today.
All from the show today?
From the show. These were all women's all WNBA. This was a really nice card. I bought this from our friend Howard. It's a Paige Becker's Net Marvels Orange bookend 75 of 75.
The page you said?
Yeah, the page.
Very nice.
Number to 75. It's a bookend 75 of 75. I picked up this Ice Prism, Caitlin Clark Ice Prism. So interestingly enough, I just had one come back from consignment. It looks like an alien. Yes, it does, sir. I just had one of these come back as an 8 from consignment, which they were selling in the $40 range. Mm-hmm. Mine sold at 71. So on consignment. So I figured it can't go wrong. It looks great. I mean, it looks better than an 8, but even if it comes back an 8, you still can't go wrong. And then another girl, right? If it wasn't for Paige Beckers, they said that she would have been Rookie of the Year, Sonia Citron. Right? Yeah. So her Rookie Ice Prism and her Rookie Blue Velocity.
I like how the Prism cards looked this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've done a kind of a good, like you want to rave about them. You want to say they look great because you take them out, they look great. But it just seems like there's always one little thing on every single card you pull out. And he's like, oh, you get so, but now knowing that, I've heard from a lot of people, including you, right, that I'm looking too closely at these cards, that these cards, that I may be holding back cards that could gem or could be, that I'm really, getting too deep in the weeds. So when I look at them and I see one thing, if I see more than one, it's not happening. But if I see like one little dot or one little dimple or one little, then I'll say, we'll see. Like I can, I can justify looking at the nines and saying, okay, even if it gets a 9, it's still a profitable card. There's my justification.
Yeah, absolutely. And the results are in. Card just finished.
Woo! So you didn't listen to a word I said. You're like, look,
did you see my face?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it was at one. It was at 1 second. And it was still at 885, and then it went. My phone just blew up, and it finished at 1247. So I was like, "Wow,
nice."
Yeah, no, congrats. But I heard what you're saying about like over analyzing the cards. I mean, but also I think about that in the other way is that maybe I under analyze them, and maybe there's certain cards that I don't get 10s on that like they're 9s where it's like you really shouldn't have sent that, but. I don't know. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So that'd be a good question for Mr. Minty, who you had on about like over analyzing them, because that was a good episode you guys had.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was a good lesson.
And some of the things, right, that people just overlook, when they're sending cards in, and it's more like people. And it's funny because I do the same thing too. And as long as I've been doing this, I make one simple mistake that I always at the end, when I have a whole pile, I say, oh, did I really check that? I go back and I pull everyone out as the centering. Like the first thing you do, right? You're pulling out the card and you're looking at, the whole thing. You're looking at the corners, the edges, make sure there's no dimples, scratches, lines, this, that, another thing. But then I'm always like, did I check the centering? Then I always go back, and before I package things up, I got to go back and look at the centering, because sometimes there's something I overlook for whatever reason. When I see a card visually, when someone says, are you interested in this card? I take it. I notice the centering right away. But when I pull a card or stuff like that, I seem to overlook the centering.
I feel like I'm not good at, I feel like I always overlook the centering unless it's like glaring. Honestly, that I would say that's like my weakness, but like I also feel like I could be wrong, but like I just feel like it's the least impacted on these cards. I really do. I feel like it's more structural damage, and by structural I mean like indents, scratches, like I feel like for the most part I'll catch a centering by now. Maybe just because I've looked at so many cards, I just know. You know what? I almost feel like I'm not like when I take a card, I'm like, oh, let me really look at the centering. I just feel like it's like I see it or I don't see it being a problem. I also think with a lot of those like damages and issues, a big part of that stuff is understanding sets and like if it's a common flaw within a set or not. Because I think there are definitely flaws in certain sets that don't matter, and in other sets they do.
And if you don't do it enough, you have no idea.
No, absolutely. Yep. And I also think it's hard to have someone try to explain that difference for you. I really feel like that's something that you kind of have to do and see firsthand to understand what those differences are.
Yeah. And I know you were talking about previewing people's cards for grading, right? Doing something like that. And I would have to say something like that. If you're looking at a lot of cards, like I think I look at a lot of cards, but if I was previewing cards, I'm only looking at the cards that I like, right? I'm only looking at the cards that I buy and the cards that I take care of. But if you're doing it for somebody else, you're looking at so many different cards, right? So you would really, like Mr. Minty, who does this for, has a service doing this. I mean, you really get to know all aspects of the different sports, the different, sets, that are coming out of, from Prism and all the other, like if you were in football, like Prism and Mosaic and National Treasures and this and that, like, like what you're looking for in each one at that point.
Yeah. And I looked into Mr. Minty's services. I went on his page and I looked at him, and I could be wrong, but it definitely seems catered towards higher tier cards or like more expensive cards. Like I would say minimum of a regular value to send in, or else I don't think this is controversial. I think he would even say like it may not be worth it to have him check out just off the top of my head, like Juju Watkins a Juju Watkins Sapphire, base Sapphire, to have a $20 look over to then you're gonna have to send it in for another 20, because then the card may sell for $50 and right, like, but for and that's not anything wrong with that. I just think that's clear, and clearly he's doing it enough where it makes sense. I saw that and I was like, okay, so this is catered towards bigger cards, right?
I would say yes. I don't know who would. I mean, you never know. Like, I don't want to answer for other people because other people hobby a lot different than I do. So I'd hate to say yes and then someone be like, well, why? That Juju Sapphire is very important to me. Like, I want it in a 10. I would give him 5 of them and tell me which one is going to have a 10 because I want that in a 10, and it's worth it for me to make that investment because at the end, I'm going to get what I want right out of it. But I think for the most part, I think yes, if I was sending, cards that I was sent to him were probably 500 and up.
Yeah. It's no disrespect, no bad. I'm sure also if he lowered the tier, like you'd probably have to lower the dollar amount because it just wouldn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think it's controversial. I'm not trying to make it a controversial statement. I think the service is awesome. Like, let's not get that twisted. I was just thinking though, like what I know, because you mentioned me and you have talked about it. I don't really have anything in the plans to make it a full service like Mr. Minty and do it like that, but maybe if there's a demand for it. But I'm thinking about being able to take on those lower end cards too, for people to look at, like $5 a card at like at least 10 cards sent in to me to make it worth the while. Yeah. So if anyone is interested, we could talk a little bit more about that. My Instagram, zips.cards. If you are interested in having some cards looked over, and we can chat about that. But yeah, I think it's important that if, I guess it's in a way, it's kind of like if you want to learn quicker, you could pay someone to give you feedback on things that's done it a lot.
Or you could look at them yourself and send them in.
Because it would be awesome if
you send them
and
in
then, and then figure out, but also like, no, for sure. Or like if you trust me, or even like if you have higher end cards to do that with, or someone like a Mr. Minty, like that's doing that, it's pretty spot on with your grades. So it maybe instead of sending to regular service for $75 to finding those cards out, because that's the tier card you have, you spend 20 with Mr. Minty, and he's like, hey, this probably get an 8. Probably be better for you to not send it in. So you save $55 by sending it to that guy.
Yeah. And there were some nice cards I sent to him. Yeah. And one was a Josh Allen downtown, and he said, don't grade it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's like, for me, is like, I saw that, and he's well established. He can get those high end cards to come. And honestly, like, I'm sure if he did something like $5 a card, he'd probably be inundated with stuff and never be able to get to it in a timely fashion, truthfully. Yeah. I think that's a big difference. But like, I just kind of want to test it out and see if it's helpful for people. I've like, not off the record or anything, but I've done it for someone before, and they gave me really good feedback on it. It was our friend. I didn't charge him anything, and he sent me a stack of cards, but that's what we do for some friends sometimes. But Yeah, so if just any listeners are interested, I would be open to doing that. And Ken, I don't think you. I was weary on if I was going to bring it up, to be honest with you. So I would take it that it's a cosign that you brought it up, that you would cosign me looking at stuff.
That's just common. We talk all the time. Like I can't help but bring up things that you've said or I said, or you know, you go do what you want with it. But I do want to jump into comments. I see MI3 says, who grades with tag? How quickly do those come back? I've never graded with tag. When tag first came out, I thought about doing it, but they kept selling out. You had to buy the thing and it would sell out, and there were things that went on, and I lost interest in trying to grade with tag. But it's still in the back of my mind to give them a try, if nothing more, to create some content, right? To send some cards, and then you know, talk about, you know, my experience with that. Brendan, the centering grading standards changes every few years, and they do, and I think it would, a lot of that was, you know, we know what's going on with the grading. We know what, you know, with PSA, and, you know, they're making their standard the standard, right? By, you know, picking up other companies that are falling to the wayside, so to speak. So they can do whatever they want, and we're going to keep sending cards to them. He also said, thoughts on grading companies abandoning their IP and adapting a universal grading scale standard. I mean, I think we would like to see a universal grading scale standard, but I think whatever PSA tells us it is what it's going to be. Thoughts on that?
I think we would like that. No, hear me out. We think we would like that, but then
does it mean we get more 10s?
It may take away the opportunity to crack things out and resubmit them to get better grades. Like if you were going to try to send something from Beckett to PSA or PSA to Beckett based off of certain things like that, it could take that wind out of the sails. And also, like, I like that there's different grading companies, and that they, in theory, would make each other like try to be better. I know that clearly it's not happening right now, but yeah, I don't think I'd like that.
No.
I get it though.
It would be great to be able to send the card somewhere and knowing when you got it back that was the true grade and we didn't second guess it. I mean, and it goes two ways. Like you and I had this conversation last week when I said, remember this card I showed you? And we all thought it was disaster and it was going to get a horrible grade. And I sent it and it came back with a much higher grade than anyone expected, right? So it goes both ways. But at the end of the day,
it does, Ken, and what I just said supports that, and you know exactly what I mean by that.
Yeah.
If there's the universal grading standard and it's the powerhouse of the two that we're talking about, it wouldn't have got that grade, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Like there's a reason it didn't go to PSA. Tell me I'm crazy, right? But like that's the truth. Like that's why. Yeah. Because also I sent a Josh Allen Color Blast earlier in the year that had a similar surface. I guess we can call them surface areas. A big scratch down the middle of the card, and it got a 9.5. So like, you know, I don't know what needs to happen on a surface for Beckett to notice.
Yep. Howard says there are different grading companies.
That's an iconic comment.
Yeah.
There are different grading companies, ? I don't know. I've heard of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
I gotta say though, I do like the idea of tag and AI grading. To me, should be the best, right? Because that's, in theory, that's not subjective, right? That's just a scan and analysis of it's almost like a topographical map, right? Like how they like do the scan of it. So that'd be cool. Because I also like the idea of like you can hit the scan of the tag label, I think, and then it will like show you like
it brings you right online. It gives you all the
3D scan of it. That's great.
Yeah. And they were doing I want to say it was like 2022, right? Like they were like the next big thing, and it was AI that was all this stuff. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know why it never gained as much popularity as I thought it was going to.
Bill says the rare slabs are amazing. I got to be honest. I've heard that from several people, but I've never seen one because of how rare they are. I haven't actually got to hold one.
Howard says it's not objective. The person who, well, he said it. I guess it would be programming.
This is a 10 to the software is still a human being. That's true.
Whoever programmed it. Yeah. All right, so let's move on. So I'm driving home from the show today, right? And I talked about this percentage variables. And this is really where I come up with, show ideas and topic ideas and things like that. Anyways, I'm driving home from the show today, and I thought about how the show went. I went to a local show. Bill's in here. He's the promoter. I went to Bill and Billy's card show in Danbury. And I got through the door. I'm set up next to my guy, Howard. Howard says, I got some cards for you. Hands me some, WNBA stuff. I think it was Billy who said, hey, showed me he had a WNBA card. Check this out. Then somebody else came over and they had, some other women's basketball stuff, right? So I feel I pay pretty strong on stuff. Like I stick to certain percentages and I buy them. And I'm driving home today and I thought to myself, should I pay as strong as I do? Should I work things in my mind? And it was a question I was going to ask you because you do a lot of purchasing outside of these shows. You buy lots, you do stuff like that. Are you diverse with your percentages? And when I say that, is it different all the time depending on where you are, what you're looking at, what makes it different? What's going to change in your mind? And I think this is going to help a lot of people too that listen to this, because I think we all show up at the show and we say 80%, 82%, 85% off. I sold it on consignment. I get 87, right? And I think people are stuck on that, but I really don't think. I think there's if we're opportunists or we're looking for opportunity, right? I think there's times where you don't have to pay so strong. Like I walk into a show, I'm the only guy probably buying women's basketball, and the other people know it. They get excited when they see me show up and they bring cards to me. Should I be paying strong on those cards because they're bringing me those cards first, or should I say, I'm probably the only guy in the room that's going to be buying them? Maybe I'll be a little softer on my percentages. Am I making sense when I'm saying all that?
Yeah. That's a layered question. Because part of me, I think it's important, like in all this it is negotiation. So like, if you can work out a deal with someone and work a better percentage, like, because a lot of the times, like I have people that I make regular deals with, but like we have preset negotiated terms pretty much, and I don't really want to get into those percentages exactly, but what I'll say is,
but that's who you're selling it to.
No,
right? Oh, that's who you're buying from too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's just like it with all things like this, though, it has to come to an agreed upon number. If you have the ability to get those cards for a better price, why should you not do that? That's my question. And also, I also think that a big difference, though, is like setting. Like, I'm not doing a ton of deals at shows. Like, I'm not. And I feel like there's so many like-minded individuals at shows that have these, oh God, I'm sounding like a hippie. They have these social constructs of show percentages and what's acceptable to pay and not to pay. Okay. I also bought out a collection blind for $1,000, and it worked out great for me. And the guy was super happy that I paid him $1,000 for it. And I didn't look at it other than a handful of cards. And I was like, all right, I'll take a shot. So it's just like, I think it matters. Like it matters who you're dealing with, what the cards are, and where you are. But like, why wouldn't I try to get the best percentage I could? You know?
Yeah, I understand that. I
understand
that.
Because you're not Pawn Stars, right? You're not calling in the expert. You're not Rick. Harrison saying, "Oh, let me call someone in here." It's like, I offered you 5,000, but we just got told it was 50,000. They're like, "Oh, I'll take 70,000." It's like, no. It's like
Bill here, and I think that's Billy. I think this is Billy. Said, you know, if the person I'm dealing with is giving us the same type of deals or paying strong, I'm always going to give them the first look at cards, right? So I don't know how important that is for a lot of the cards if you're in a specific lane.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say you have a guy that does all non-sport stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And we know not I don't
as liquid.
Yeah, I don't think it's as liquid as so versus somebody's coming in with a downtown or an uptown or you know, or something like that, or a Kaboom that they're like, oh my God, you know, I need to get 95% on that. Well, yeah, okay, I understand that because that card is so liquid that everybody or most people that come through the doors are going to want to buy that card. But for me in a lane with the women's basketball stuff, when I go to Mohegan, I know at Mohegan, I mean, I probably have 8 to 15 people will at any one of those shows will come directly to me and say, "Oh, I'm glad you're here. I have all this stuff," and just throw it out there. And I don't want to disrespect them, right? I don't want to, because I want them to come back and feel comfortable doing that. So I think there's a fine line there.
I was going to say, I'll be like your Luther anger translator. What you really mean is, where the hell else are they going to dump it off on?
but you know what? There's sooner or later new options are going to show up, right? I mean, you know it, and if you, I don't know, I just think it's such a fine line of in the hobby, like. You know, making offers that make sense but aren't going to feel like you're lowballing somebody, right? Especially if people you know. Like the cards I bought today at the show, these cards I bought from people I know. And these cards I just show all except for the Caleb Williams. But they're cards I'm buying from people that I know, right? So it's I don't know. I just find it to be that fine line between.
There's a lot of nuance to it.
Yeah, there's an honest deal, or you know, really, you couldn't pay me a little more for the, you know, like I don't know. There's just that fine line there, and that's why I always say, you know what, if I pay a little stronger, then I don't have to worry about worrying, right?
So like I mean, so here's another thing is like Chasing Cardboard, that show. Mm-hmm. He's usually buying like these large collections for like 50 to 60%, but they're large it's bulk, a lot of cards, and that's just the value. It's not what he's then going to grade things for and then exponentially jump it. So like I think it's a big part of this is who, what, where. It's like first grade, the questions: who, what, where, when, why, and how. Which honestly they're all relevant. Like if you're like you're paying certain percentages and buying certain percentages from people that you've done deals with before, because that's your unspoken, agreed upon, like, reality and construct of how you do deals. If you went to someone's basement and cleared out their basement for them for cards of 5 rows, some slabs, like you know, filled up a Jeep Wrangler like I have before, you're gonna have the same like social contract with that person that you've never met, and you just did, like, you came to them, it's just a different deal.
But do you ever think in your mind that regardless that it's just another deal, like especially if it's somebody you just met, is like, okay, like I could probably get this at 74%, and I'm just making up numbers, or 76%, but you know what? I'll pay 79% because they may call me back. They may have a neighbor. They may have a friend that does this that say, yeah, this guy was good. He paid pretty good, versus this guy, you'll probably get the same thing anywhere else. No need calling this guy, right? I don't know. These are the things that are always going through my mind, especially in business. And I know Michael here says, you know, same thing. Probably the same thing I'm trying to say is that he pays strong because he wants to build the relationships. And he said, relationships is essential in business. The relationship has more value than the transaction. And I think you're right for people who are business minded, but I don't think that's true for most people at a card show.
I also think strong is very strong could mean a few things depending on what you're buying. You know, like that's what I think.
Yeah.
Like if I'm buying out a collection and you're gonna try to break down bulk cards into a certain like dollar cent amount per card, that could be strong in a way too, and you could still make a killing. But I think we're talking about two very different things though, because like when I'm buying like so much. It's not like I'm not just picking out like a handful of cards to you know what I mean? I'm not really doing that. So it's very different. And the reason I'm trying to buy bulk is to get it as good of a percentage as I can. I really don't know what else to say, because like this is honestly why I've kind of evaded card shows. It's like I'm gonna pay to get in the door, or I'm gonna pay to set up, and then I'm gonna have to make these deals that have way smaller margin on them. And I like card shows, but if I'm trying to do this for extra income, I'm gonna do what makes sense. Apologetically too, because
don't you think everybody's there to make for extra income? You think everybody? I mean, the percentage of people that show up to the shows that are buying for their collection, and that's it. That's the end of the day. I'm a buyer. I never sell. I just come and buy and add to my collection. Versus the people who are coming to buy and flip and resell, and I think though I'm not going to say take a guess on percentages, but I'm going to say that the first is very low versus people in there doing this as supplemental income is
I know. Yeah, I know one person who only picks up things for their PC, and they sold a company for like $450 million. So yeah, like there you go.
Yeah,
that's yeah. So like there you go. I don't know. I also don't like where it's like, I mean, like, would you feel bad about getting a great deal?
No, I never feel bad about getting a great deal on something. I'm always just conscious of, the relationships that I have with people that, I want them to, I say I pay strong, and sometimes people may be like, oh, that wasn't that strong, because if you were paying strong, you'd have paid me 95% and not 85%, right? So
yeah.
I think, and you're right. I think strong is that word that, it just depends on, who is accepting what you're paying.
Yeah. And also like people could come up and ask for something, and it could be, so what if someone comes, this happens all the time when I'm buying deals out and about, cause also like if I'm coming to do all the work too, I at least want to know what you want for it. Whether it's in the ballpark or not, I would want to know, because I think it's at least right. Like you say, it's important to price your cards right. What if the price that they're asking for it is lower than you would offer?
Then you just take it, because obviously that's what they want for the card. I mean, if I show up at a table and I look and somebody's got a card priced at $100, and the most recent comp on the card is 125 or 140, I'm not going to be that guy that says, can you do 75 on the card, right? I'll just be like, oh, I'll take that, right? Yeah. I mean, and thanks for the deal. I appreciate you, selling it that. And people will say right away, oh, I know that's less than the last one, but I only bought it for 70. And that's why I'm selling it for 100. Like there's a lot of people out there that do that, right? And keeps it moving for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess for percentages, for me, it just has to make sense for the outlet, because I've gotten to the point where like I move most of a majority of the stuff now I'm just doing on consignment, because I hate the stagnation. It drives me nuts. And so they have to be in line with those percentages. you know, whatever I can do to flip to go on there, and still put a few things aside for the PC at this point, which is basically like Boston stuff. So it's like, you know, and I'm super picky at that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want like a crazy large PC. Like I don't need that. Like I want like the things that I like. So, which is so niche that it's like I'm really not seeing it all the time. So, you know, I don't know. I just think I think it's important if you're like conscientious of trying to flip cards to get them at the best price you can.
Well, you know, I just I got to say here, John. John, did you come to the show after I was gone? Or did you come to the table and meet me? So John Dortch was at the show I was at today. He's in the chat.
And that, because I'd actually, yeah, that's a good point, because as common as today was my first time at Danbury, and people were paying strong and asking for fair deals. I would like to know if he could quantify what paying strong and fair deals mean. Mm. What is that? If you can quantify that at a card show, because then you have like, what is that agreed upon percentages at a show that's how a show should operate. Mm-hmm. Would you pay I had a question for you. Would you pay the same price at a flea market that you'd pay at a card show?
Why or would you?
Because you could haggle. It's like you could haggle.
Haggle in a card show.
I'm saying though, you could haggle even more at a flea market.
Why? What do you mean you can haggle more? How is it you can haggle more at a flea market than a card show?
That's how I feel about a flea market versus a card show. That's what I think about it. It's my perception. That's what I'm saying. Because that's what I'm getting at, is you have the people at flea markets, they could be at card shows too, that they buy out storage units and they have just a box of cards laying over there, but they have hats, shoes, estate jewelry, they have all that, but they have cards over there. Mm-hmm. Are you going to go into that thinking they're up on their eBay comps just as someone who just has cards setting up at a show would? I wouldn't. I wouldn't think they are, and I would assume I could probably get a better deal.
And you're also assuming that they buy better. They're getting a better deal when they buy it.
Maybe.
Yeah. I was across from you vending.
In the white hoodie.
I must have come to your table. I went to everybody's table. Next time you have to let me know who you are. A lot of my cars got full price. Given was $5 to $10. Right.
Yeah.
Oh. Sports card, the hobby. Michael says strong in my opinion. I'm not losing sleep over $10 to $20 when buying a card I want. I don't like feeling pissed about negotiation. I just walk away. Yeah, I try to eliminate a lot of the negotiation, especially cards that I really want, you know, because I don't want to be that like, if I can't get that $10, I'm walking away.
I mean, yeah. I think I mentioned a few shows ago. I recently.
Oh! I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know exactly who you are, John. All right. Sorry.
No. You're good.
See, now, like I knew his name was John, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together who he was. Okay. Yeah. I know exactly who you are. Okay. Perfect.
I see your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's also cards that I've paid over comps for because I really want them too. Granted, it's fewer and far between, but like, it's there's so much nuance to it on the percentages. But yeah.
And I hate that feeling when someone comes with a card that I'm like, I really want this card, but I really need to be somewhere in this, and they can't be there, and the card walks away, and I'm like, oh. Should I have let that card walk away? And that just weighs on me more than anything else in this hobby. When a card walks away, that I think to myself that I probably should have bought it, or I shouldn't have let it walk away, or I should have tried to negotiate further, or offered more, or did something more. But you know, a percentage of the time, the person will come back and still have that card, and sometimes they won't. But that's probably, you know, The only time I have regrets at a show.
I feel more strongly about that with raw cards than what do you call it? Than graded cards. Yeah, because I just the inherent upside on it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, big announcement.
Big announcement.
Take it away, Zip. Oh, wait. Bill said he paid full. Oh, you bought that Pat Tillman? I remember that Pat Tillman. Full comps. So that paying full comps on a Pat Tillman, those cards are pretty rare to come by to begin with. So there's I don't think it was a downtown.
Okay.
I know he had a downtown that he sold and he regretted it every day. But I know the Pat Tillman cards are hard to come by. So cards like that, people would just pay. I mean, you're better off just saying, I'll pay your price, because sometimes I've walked up on a card like that and be like, what's the best you can do? And they're like, you know what? That price is not right. I'm $100 more now.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely situations where you got to pay what people want. Number 10, Donruss Black. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so big announcement. You want me to take this away?
Yeah.
All right. So Ken and I have been talking, and we want to try something new and a little bit fun. I mean, granted, it's not new in the scheme of the hobby, but we want to try to create a repack for listeners. And the goal is to create a community. It's not really to ever get too big. Like, I think we already had this conversation that like the chase card would never really be over $1,000, and that's probably down the lines anyways. The goal is to try to just create some engagement, and we're going to try to incorporate a repack with our content. So on one of our lives, ideally, we would have a whole live podcast episode, and at the end of the episode, we would then have a repack going. Should we you want to break down the details of what the repack entails? Kind of
we can down the road. I mean,
we know it's coming.
We know it's coming. We know it's going to be inexpensive.
Yep.
It's nothing that's going to break the bank, but again, it's going to build the community, and a lot of people that I know, that that we know, are buying into these things all over, and it's worth it for us to, see if it's something, an added part to the hobby chop. If it's something that, and like we talked about, we try it. If it works, we keep going. If it doesn't work, we move on to something else.
Absolutely. Yeah. If it becomes something that it's like, oh, we need to do like 3 breaks, so like every episode, then cool, we'll do that. But if it's like something that would be like once a month sort of thing, or if it's something that would never happen again, be like, all right, we tried it, see how it goes. But I think it would bring a whole new dynamic to it. And also, I think we talked about this too. I don't really know anyone that's doing content and incorporating that into it, because like we talked about, and I'm sure like all listeners, if y'all have ever been on Fanatics Live or whatnot, how often are you just seeing like breakers just sit there dead silent, then every once in a while need 3 to fill on break, and then back to just on their phone, like, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, MI3 cards. Well, that's a great comment. Shut up and take my money. Appreciate you. And unless the girlfriend's home, then he's not going to be on the live. So we'll have to make sure that's happening. But yeah, I think it's something that would be fun, and I think we're both in the idea that I think the last thing we want is for anyone to feel like taken advantage of. So that's why we're gonna discuss over the time of like, hey guys, there are X amount of spots, there are X amount of cards, there will be X amount of losers. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right?
Yeah.
So she won't have
to know. And also, like, we did this for the fantasy football. We did the Dynasty. We did the Hobby Chop League. We built the community there. We've had a chat rolling, in that all season long, and just getting to know people, right, that are just part of, listeners and are now part that we're just more of a community that we're creating, which I just think is kind of cool. Just keep bringing people together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also for us, it's some way to generate some sort of money, since we do this all the time, and it's we do it because we love it. But it's also, I mean, I think it's important. We're human, right? Like that's something too.
Yeah, I mean, it costs money to do this. I mean, everything I do on my end, and I've been doing this for years. That I don't take sponsorships because, I've talked about this, that unless I'm using your product and I completely believe in your product, and you want to sponsor me, because that has to come both ways, right? Then and up to this point, we've never took sponsorship on this, and just another way to.
Haven't taken sponsorships, but we've definitely generated income for certain brands. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Whether they're aware of it or not. Okay. But yeah, so that's the big announcement, and we're gonna try to do that late January, where we're gonna have it. And I think we discussed that we're gonna make an Instagram post and explain like how many spots there are and the price per spot, what the floor would be, what the ceiling would be, and kind of go from there. I think it'd be fun to explain the spots though, especially considering what me and you dabble with, because it's a 33 spot break.
Yeah.
The 33 spot break. The 32 spots, the traditional spots, it's an NFL team assigned with a corresponding NBA and or MLB team. Some spots only have 2 teams. And then the wild card spot, the 33rd spot, it is miscellaneous sports. So you have WNBA, which I'm sure if you get that spot and Ken's a part of this, I feel like that may have to be like if you were like power ranking spots, like got to be a pretty strong spot. But yeah, soccer, wrestling, non-sport, all of that. So that's the 33rd spot. And we're gonna try our best to make it like even for things to hit, right? Like you don't want to get a spot and be like, I've never seen this thing ever hit. Like I have no chance at, like, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be very fun.
We'll look forward to it. We will keep everybody updated. And like Zip said, we'll put the rules up, what's going on with it. And then as we put it together, we'll make the announcement, and hopefully it will go off well.
Michael, you're confused about all those letters and numbers. Yeah. He is saying that he is the 2025 Hobby Chop Fantasy Football Rookie of the Year.
He is. Oh, hands down. Yeah.
He was. And shout out Weha Sports Cards. Took home the Yahoo Championship.
Yep. The Hobby Chop League.
Yep. And then in our Hobby Chop Dynasty League, it is currently going on right now.
Big Ballers
League. Yep. And I am currently winning. I have a 98% chance of winning the championship at this point in time. So,
out of 5 leagues, I'm only taking 2 third-place spots this year. It's been my worst year in probably 10 years. My two third-place finishes. So I'm going to have to sharpen up my skills for next year. Sharpen up my drafting. Yeah.
Yep. I should win 2 championships out of the leagues I'm in, but like I'm in 9 leagues.
Yeah. Well, the other league that we're in together, that's very hard. All the friends, nobody wants to trade. They all trade amongst themselves.
I've created the evil empire of the dynasty. I've created the dynasty, Ken. Yeah. I had like 250 points last week in that league. So
the other people in the group, though, there's like 7 of them that are all just trying to pull their resources together to take down the evil dynasty. And yours truly, nobody will trade with. If I ask them for a trade, they're like, "Sir, you would like $50? No problem. Give us 300 and we'll give you 50." I'm like,
yeah. You know what I'll say? So like we had way more engagement in the Yahoo League than in our Dynasty League, which it really shouldn't be that way. Like, we should be chatting it up. I'll have to maybe make an Instagram group chat for the Dynasty League, because the Dynasty League goes on forever in theory. Yeah, so I'll have to figure that out. But
and where's Michael? Michael, can I be the rookie commissioner of the year? No.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that. You want to tell people what you did?
Well, it happened to a lot of other people I talked to too. I wasn't the only one, because I never really went through that. But when I set it up, I just took I said how many, the teams in the playoffs, and then we moved on. And I didn't realize that in week 14, which was which is the first week of the playoffs, was still bye weeks.
Yeah.
So I didn't look that far ahead. So,
and because I was through the regular season, I was in second place, and the first round of the playoffs, I lost, and I did not have Brock Purdy or George Kittle, which would have been.
Yeah.
But hey, it happens, and it helped me in other leagues. So, just got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, I mean, it's a every year. It's a learning experience, right? New people come in. They all have different types of, new players come into the league, and it's, now you have to worry about, is it a PPR? Are you drafting, not just the main back, right? Yeah. Because now it's the bell cow back doesn't catch the ball anymore. It's the third down back that's coming in and catching eight passes for 100 yards per game. And so all of a sudden, you're drafting, I'm losing at the end in weeks. I'm losing by a few points to backups, are outplaying the starters type of thing. So it's.
And also in like some of the leagues we're in and Sleeper for Dynasty, it's like there's a tight end premium where it's like 1.5 for every tight end catch, which is really important. And it makes a difference. I also think it makes the tight ends like almost like more equal than what they normally are. So yeah, but good old fantasy football wrapping up to the end. So I'll win the first year of the Dynasty, and then we'll probably run it back with pretty much maybe almost all of the same people in the Yahoo League. And then maybe we'll expand it. Maybe we'll do more Yahoo Leagues. We'll see. It was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. All right, look, next week, I think we are going to no episode Wednesday because we did this today. And I'll be back next Sunday with a new episode. So this will be it. This will be it for this week. There'll be nothing Wednesday. It's New Year's Eve. And I'll be back next Sunday with my own episode, and then we'll get back on track. Moving forward, the holidays are over. So by that time, I think we're like the 7th, or I don't have a calendar, 7th or 8th. So we'll definitely be able to talk about, have a better idea when we're going to start that repack. So, but yeah, happy and healthy New Year to everybody, all the listeners out there, and for here at the Hobby Chop and Sports Card Lessons. I appreciate you guys coming, listening every week, and supporting me, supporting us, and hitting these lives. And I'd like to try to do more lives, try to get more people, more interaction in, so hopefully that's something we can work on in the new year. Because I definitely like this interaction with people in here and talking and asking questions. It's definitely a lot of fun.
I think that's the hope with the repack too, is that it will bring in not necessarily new people. I mean, granted, yes, new people, but maybe drum up more engagement and excitement and liveliness. Yeah, that too.
Yep, good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, look, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and we'll
see you next year.
Yeah, we'll see you next year.
I want to thank everybody for listening, everybody for watching. If you're not subscribed, what does it say?
Need to do a call-in line. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. New phone. Who dis? Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, please subscribe. And like I said, have a safe, healthy, happy New Year. And I'll see you guys, and we'll be back next week. Zip. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.